She was taking care of a baby since 2000.
Read the rest of the sentence. Before she was called by her mother. Yeah. So if you see there are two events. Yeah. She was taking care of a baby for 2 hours. Full stop would be fine. Before she was called by her mother. In that case, since
Since would be yes.
so and it is continuous. She was taking care. She was taking care means if it was like she had taken care for 2 hours. She was taking care, so it's a continuous process going on since 2 hours. Okay.
If the past is yes, then for but it had then forward thing.
So if for comes in, then she had taken care of it. Okay. Yeah. So you can say for is correct and taking care of it. And then this sense would not be a very good option because they're talking about before she was called, so she had taken care of what was. So if it was sentence improvement, then it had to. Yeah,
See, it's direct question.
in the
I still don't understand the difference between article and thing.
so in the PPT, remember the one which was the third one. And put in all those words, till and until also. So till is usually used when you're talking about a period of, you're talking about a, say, an activity which has to be completed and another activity to be started. Or I waited till a point of time. So when you are talking about until, when you use until, just repeated. Dimaag ki gati chala. Difference between till and until.
Same. Till is to that specific that is stop.
Point.
Until, see, till is specific when you're talking about a specific period of time.
It's a till time का लेकर until time.
Till comes in time and activity, but till I work till 3 o'clock. Right? So you are ending it. Now if I say you won't go out of this class until you do your homework or till you do your homework. Until. So that's why we are talking about two activities. One will not be completed. If one is not completed, the other will be. So when that sense comes in, then you will use that. Yes. Yes, please. By the director wanting to organize the group in a more effective way, and the second decision was made by the director who wanted to organize the group. is grammatically correct and is clear. The decision was made by the director wanting to, or who wanted to. It is better in construction. Who wanted to? The director wanted, right? The pronoun who comes with the director. And the jury are convinced. The jury is convinced. Neither of these boys, neither of these two boys,
Neither.
neither,
Neither.
and we don't have two. Okay, this is a different case. We have neither, only neither. We don't have neither nor. Right? Neither of the boys. So there are so many boys, and we're talking about neither of them. Another two boys. He hasn't done, he hasn't done. A, B, both haven't done. So neither will be here as neither will be your subject. So this is the not the typical neither nor. Neither of the two boys as
Second. Page 137.
137. Okay, if you are also going through the textbook exercise,
I'm very much cluster 5.
classes 5 कर लिया?
मैंने कोई तो किया नहीं कौन से पता I have done total in
4 या 5 इधर 4 और 5 हो सकता है 4 या 5 नहीं हो सकता specific numbers
second
37 का second one
36
37 का second that is section 4 IPM को कुछ नहीं बोला select the most predictable sentence with respect to writing. So we have to select the one which is correct. Yeah. She came in too quickly to avoid waking her child. She came in too quickly. Okay, we did all. She entered in quickly. That's true. Have not to wake her child. She came in quickly. She came in very quickly so that she might avoid waking her child. Right? Now the sense you are getting is that she came in quickly and she didn't want to wake the child. So B and C are eliminated. Having not to wake her child, she came in quickly. Having not to wake her child. It's not grammatically. So between A and B, A says she came in too quickly. Now, if you come in too quickly, means you're doing something wrong. Yeah? Negative natural effects. So if she came in too quickly, the child would have been waiting. So B, she came in very quickly. So that's why the child was sleeping, and before the child wakes up, she came. That's the sentence. So when you are in confusion, take the sense of the sentence. Yeah, what the sentence better of your sense. What else? Anything else?
does my brother equals to 10?
Neither do I, nor does my brother tell. So if you say I don't tell lies, or I don't tell lies, tell lies, yeah. So neither do I, nor does my brother.
Why not?
So we are talking about the whether you should use singular or plural. Yeah. So I tell lies, he tells lies. Yeah. But when you're putting it together, tell lies. So this is little. Sometimes see grammar is not like black and white, yeah, or right or wrong. Sometimes grammar is a gray. Tell lies. So you will see. What is it? Huh?
That would change. Neither do I nor
Neither do I, nor does my brother. That is okay.
but we change that.
Which is neither do I, nor does my brother. तो उसमें क्या? That's okay. Neither I nor my brother tell lies. Neither I nor. Actually, right. Yeah, if I look at the option, neither I nor my brother tell lies. That is, we are talking about both. Right? So you can change the neither I nor does my brother to neither I nor my brother. So tell will be better suited to that.
So yeah. B can be
B.
I'm saying B.
Yeah, I have said B. Sorry, I was wrong. It should be B. The पीछे B दिया होगा, but it should be B. You can change the answer.
Neither I nor my
Neither
brother.
I nor then my brother. So you are changing the underlined portion of
Neither I nor my brother.
it.
But neither nor my brother is second. There's an answer.
Neither I nor my see, when you say neither I nor my brother,
Yeah, tells lies.
does neither I nor does, okay, 1 minute. Does any answer? It's not just neither. When we are talking about does, it's not. So neither I nor does my brother. Does my brother tell Aida?
That's not coming right. So does is like
Right.
that.
Neither I nor my brother does tell lies. So in that case, B is correct. If it was neither I nor my brother, then tells lies. Right? So there are 2 points. Since we have the word does coming in, tell and does go. Yeah.
It's 70.
It's 17.
Yeah. Question.
Then you are looking through all exercises.
Same.
Page 17, question, you don't know most. Okay, complete the sentences using furthermore, moreover, additionally, and in addition. Okay? So their team has got the best players. Cash, their coach is fantastic. So we are talking about the best players. What else?
In addition.
Additionally, you can say, or you
We
can
can
say
use
furthermore.
moreover.
Furthermore or additionally, I think here it would be furthermore. Because you're talking about the team has the best players. What else do they have?
But all the meaning is same. Furthermore, additionally.
But it, hello. Good to see all of you. So, how many classes has any one of those students to do? With the team. Team is here, no? Okay, have you finished the classes? I have told them to finish class till classes 5. We discussed till 4 yesterday, half of 4. 5 also we should. So, Krishna, we had a terrible time on our holiday. The weather was hot. Dash the air was humid. So we are talking additionally. So we have to see what the meaning of the sentence is. What do we require? Additionally, furthermore, moreover. Now, moreover is usually used when there is slight contrast. But we are talking about something more common. There's a reason for this. Moreover, we also think this. Furthermore is you take it further. That is, what more do we have? What additionally do we have to make this stronger? And only additionally can be used when an additional fact is present. So you can take it that way. A second fact coming in additionally. So in the second sentence, we can use, what can we use? We are talking about a hardware term. Second sentence. Some of you can sit this side also. Yeah, not allowed to. Can't be like it. Okay. You should be able to see the screen clearly. So we had a terrible time on a holiday. The weather was hot and the air was humid. So we are talking about something more. Yes. Here we can say additional.
In addition.
Or in this case, one more. See here, if we use additionally, does it give us the idea that something was really wrong? Moreover. Here we will use moreover. So this is usage of English. It's not like only this word can fit in. All the words mean the same. But what will fit in the context? That is important. So in this case, we will use moreover. That would be a better option. Greens contain vitamin A. Dash, they are rich sources of iron. What can go in here? C column. What can go into C? Additionally, will be the best. B may. C and D, the word comes in the beginning of the sentence.
C mark was given in addition.
C may in addition. In addition, the air was humid. But I think it will be.
Now in addition to comes first.
In addition, like in B, what will come? In addition to. Yeah, in addition to something, so to should come along with in addition. In addition to A, B also have. So in D, we will have in addition. C may, you can say additionally, or, yeah, additionally they are mixed together. What about E?
Furthermore.
Okay, read the sentence with furthermore.
He is ignorant. Furthermore, he is lazy. Moreover.
See, you're getting a hammer. That house isn't big enough for us, and
Further.
here, when I said that there should be a hint of contrast.
Additional means.
Hint of contrast. This isn't big enough for us, and moreover, it is expensive. Or no, and additionally, it is expensive. Additionally, furthermore, you have one fact or one problem, and there's another problem added to it. So furthermore, right? Okay, Mobio, that's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now as for class test 5, the conclude sponsor class test 5. Okay, class test 5. You can write the number, the code number for the class. Code number आता है उसमें नहीं होता है. So it is 11108. Class test 5 का number है 11108. कौन सा टेस्ट नंबर है? So that we can be on the same page when we are discussing. It's 11108. It begins with these if this is wrong for a question. Second question is in this, if you remember, if you are thinking that 5 kiya ki nahi, second question tha Arunachal Pradesh is to Itanagar as
Yes.
So give me the gap.
we have done 5.
We have done a lot of tests.
Okay, so do you want the printouts of the test? You don't need it. Carbon footprint. Okay, so we do 19. Let everyone finish the class test. Okay, tomorrow everyone should have done class test 5. 4 and 5. 4 जिसने नहीं किया वो 4 complete कर लेना.
5 is this.
आपसे निकल जाए पेपर नहीं है.
Yes, 5.
So today everyone is present, no? Person is preparing on its own. Okay, so today we will move on to what? Remember how we went about paragraph completion? तो चलो याद दो. याद है कुछ नहीं है. Remember paragraph completion? क्या किया था?
And that's an introduction sentence.
How, yeah, introduction sentence, middle sentence, the introduction, conclusion, middle sentence. Three sentences. Paragraph and paragraph are different. Who's confused between paragraph and paragraph? Okay. Now here we have a general statement. Yeah, he is making a general statement, but he realized, I realized, whether I am realizing, it is in the past tense. Right?
I'm very confused.
Yeah, so if you're confused, you look at the other verbs. Right? So after doing something, I realize that part is in the past tense.
Also, the option is given correct. The reason is given
Never listen to reason. You say reason. You listen to my reason. In general, logical reasoning.
generally
Listen to somebody's reasoning. Option E.
So reason is specific. This specific reason. Reason is a general term. So there's more than grammar to sentence correction. Okay.
Option E.
Okay, so yeah, but we were on the city. Arjun, can you come and sit here? Between some. Oh, sorry, Arjun. Fish. Down, you can also compare. Give time to everyone. Otherwise you can sleep, and I don't want anyone to sleep alone. Anyone who is sleepy can watch your video. Okay. So para completion is very important, especially for IPM. You will get 5 questions. 5 questions para completion, 5 questions para jump. बाकी तो सब हो जाएगा. This you tend to rework because time नहीं रहता है और सोचने. Right? 10 questions अगर नहीं किए सही से, how many marks for? 40 marks for. और उसमें से कुछ गलत हो गया तो 40, 45 at least 2. So you have to practice this here. And this is not about just vocabulary or just grammar. It is about analysis, comprehension, basic comprehension. So we'll begin with this. So we know what para completion is, right? As you said, sentences missing. It's testing, as I said, your comprehension skill, whether you understand the passage. So here we are bringing the shorter passages, and the big comprehension passages are an extension of this. So you have to start developing your comprehension skills, thought process, ability to conclude and summarize. So whenever you come across a passage, paragraph, that's why I've been telling you to read and summarize, remember? Many people do. But newspaper every day I have to put into the group. Please read the newspaper. Do I have to do that? Almost adults officially going into college, they have to take your own responsibility. No one is going to school for you. School खत्म हो गया है. 12th खत्म हो गया है. Okay? So when you go to college, anyone will tell you this chapter has to be studied. आज class test होने वाला है. Textbooks भी नहीं रहते. Guidebooks में से रट्टा मारा वैसा भी नहीं होगा. You will have to read. So start with reading. Right? Reading is extremely important. Even when you do maths, word problems are working, you have to read and understand. If you haven't read properly, you will not be able to solve this. Right? So, comprehending, summarizing, getting to the main idea of the passage, that is important. And keep a track on the idea or an output. So, the big paragraph begins with something, goes on to another point, another point, another point. You have to keep track. So, remember, when we did sentence completion with 3 to 4 blanks, what was one thing I told you? Join the dots. Break it up into small pieces, understand, join the dots. So if you are not able to do that, you will not get to your answer because it's going to be complicated. Sentence completion is important. So sentence completion was a little complicated with 3 to 4 blanks. This will be a few degrees. नींद तो नहीं आ रही? So types of paragraph completion questions. The first sentence. What is the first sentence of a paragraph usually do? Introduces a topic. Yeah. So first sentence of a paragraph may, what will you find? Something broad, which gives you an idea what the paragraph is going to be about. Middle sentence, if it is missing, what is the middle sentence in a paragraph usually do? Go into details. What else? Are all the sentences absolutely different? Then you would be writing in bullet points. You would be writing in paragraphs. Right? Now it connects ideas. Any sentence that is not connecting ideas in the previous sentence and the sentence after cannot be a middle sentence. What does the concluding sentence do? Summarizes or gives a point which concludes, or it could also be sometimes you can get a say 4 to 5 sentences which may be a part of a bigger paragraph. So in that case it could be an additional point to but which maintains continuity. Something that doesn't maintain continuity will not be used. Right? And yeah, it should be a logical conclusion. It's not that okay, it is somehow related. कुछ words जो passage में आए थे वो हैं, तो we think that okay, this is related. No, we have to see whether it is logically possible or not. So now we go into the strategies. Right? So, like we did strategies for all other question types, also strategies are important. So now when we are talking about a big paragraph, we need to know what the paragraph is about. The first thing is we have to know what it is about. Understand the concept and the scope of the paragraph. Right? So what do you mean by scope of the paragraph? What do you mean by scope? What is the paragraph about? That is, what does it include? Anything, any of the options that is not talking about the same thing will not be yours. Subject area and limits. So scope is like something belonging to the paragraph and something completely different. Like it's talking about some argument, and there's an argument which goes beyond what has been said. Keywords are always important. Yeah. By now you have mastered the concept of keywords. Now, essence of a passage or even essence of a sentence is important. So when you talk about essence of a sentence, how do you get to the essence? What does it actually mean? Scope, anything that is outside the scope of the passage is not good. This is one thing you have to remember. There will always be options which have maybe half of it is related to the passage, half of it is not related to the passage. So you have to figure out, okay, is it related? Can I put it in or not? Tone and style. We have done that even for the sentence completion. 3 to 4 sentences, tone and style was important. So whether it is positive, negative, or neutral. Yeah. Whether there is a contrast or is it giving additional information. So all the transition words were important. However, moreover, while, what is while giving? What type of current? Usually first class. When you come across wires. Okay, now another thing you have to remember, if a sentence is going to be in the middle of the paragraph and it is changing the tone, that's not your answer. Right? Whenever you read a paragraph, does the idea or the tone change abruptly? So that's what you need. Connectives and transition words, very important. Always, whenever you come across a transition word or a connective, ignore them. And I can write it down. Here down. So, what can be the next idea? Change in tone can be, but, however, although. So, now when we talk about tone, there are two things that come. One is positive, negative, all those things, and secondly, whether the first idea is a contrast to the second or second idea is contrast to the first, then we can say there's a change. So that we have to make. Change, tones will not change abruptly, but there will be a logical flow. Right? They can be contrast, they can be addition to an idea. So we have to take note of the transitions. Direction and logical flow of the passage is important. What do you mean by logical flow? See, a paragraph consisting of 5 to 6 sentences. All of them will be talking about the same thing. So when, say, a passage is explaining a certain point, for example, climate change, what do you expect in the paragraph? Krish, what do you expect?
How is it cause? Cause effects.
Yeah. Cause, effects, maybe solutions. Yeah. So there should be a logical flow in the sentence. Any sentence that you want to put in should be according to that. So if there's a change of events, sequences, the thread should not be disturbed. Okay, anything that takes you in the diverse direction. So you're talking about a sentence in the middle or a concluding sentence. Something in the concluding sentence that talks about the introduction or introducing something new. Concluding sentence will not be a repetition of something that has been said earlier. Something that has already been said and has been rephrased and repeated. That's right. Anything that breaks the flow. So you have to maintain continuity to there. So now here, as we said, we go by process of elimination. So we don't have so much time to get a permutation. What is wrong? So what do we eliminate? Something that is out of the scope of contradictory. Something that doesn't talk about the topic at all. Right? Something that is not mentioned in the paragraph. So maybe the entire paragraph is talking about reasons of climate change. Right? Now there's a sentence that comes in which talks about climate change in a particular, say, year. Will that belong to the paragraph? A specific incident in a particular year. We are talking about reasons. No. Right? So you have to see what is the odd man out. Anything that is odd, extreme words, like always, never, does not. Yeah, these type of words, extreme words, have to be analyzed carefully. So usually when you're talking, when a paragraph is talking about a particular topic, and one of the options says this never happens, or the government never say changes the taxes, and never considers the policies. So you should see, is it correct? Is that what the passage is talking about? So whenever you come across extreme words, those options quite possibly will be a restatement of one of the lines given in the passage will be inference based on only one of the lines of one of the lines will not be this specifically for the So when we talk about the conclusion, do we draw our own conclusion? What is given to us, we say, okay, this can be. Let's look at a question. So if you read the question carefully, can you all see? So what does it say? Most firms consider expert individuals to be elitist. We're talking about expert individuals and characteristics of expert individuals. Elitist, temperamental, egocentric, difficult to work with. Right? First sentence is reducing egocentric people or expert individuals. So expert individuals, they have identified they have these qualities. For such people to collaborate on. Now, when you read, I told you that in general, when you read, also take note of the grammatical aspects. So collaborate on a project. Remember, collaborate always goes with on. So in any grammar question, if you come across collaborate, look at, see whether you have. So collaborate on a high stakes project, and they just might come to fisticuffs. So that means fisticuffs means quarrels, fights, who come in. Right? So not literally, but it means that they may not get along. Yeah, on any when they are asked to collaborate on high stakes projects, means important projects, they may say that okay, everyone should listen to me. Right? So they don't get along. Even the very notion of managing such a group seems unimaginable. Yeah. So we are talking about problems working with expert individuals. So now what does so come to be? We're talking about a result. Because of these, what can happen? So most organizations fall into the default, setting up project teams of people who get along nicely. So their organizations usually put together people who get along nicely. So that is what are they talking about? Problems that are faced with these people, the characteristics, and the solution that organizations have come up with is who get along nicely. Now we need a concluding. Right? What can happen as a result? So now all of these are talking about the result. So what happens because of these situations? The result, however, is disastrous Can we say it can be disastrous? Huh? That's sort of extreme. But yes, are we getting the sense that something negative can come in over here? Yes. Right? We sense something negative coming. So disastrous is negative, but it is somehow extreme. So do we eliminate straight away? We keep revitalized, we get a better answer. Result is mediocrity. When we are talking about expert people, don't get along. Now people who get along maybe are not expert, right? So do we get success? Maybe not. Yeah. So mediocrity could be an answer. The result is creation of experts who then become elitists. Can we conclude this? Not really. Right? We can't conclude. So we can eliminate it. Naturally, they drive innovations. Naturally, they drive innovations. People who are not experts drive innovations. So we have one conclusion we can get is people who get along nicely are not experts. Yeah. And because of that, what can happen? Do we say disastrous? Now we have eliminated 3 and 4. Now between 1 and 2, disastrous is extreme. We can say that we don't get good results or results in, right? This was easy.
Yes. Yes.
So what did we do?
Eliminate.
No. First step. Read, understand. Join the dots. Break it down, join the dots. Then think about what the conclusion could be. Eliminate things that are extreme. Yeah, or things that are not in the scope. They drive innovations. That's not the result is creation of experts. That is not in the scope. We're not talking about creation of experts. Right? So we looked at keywords, transitions, summarized, scope, and logical. So these are the things that we need to figure. You can write this down. Our steps are look at the keywords, summary, take note of transitions. So this is what you have to keep in mind no matter what question you do. So if it is in front of you, you know, this is what I need to do. This side is going to go, other sides are going to go, you will come up with questions. So the more you know what to do, the easier it becomes. Right? Scope. So what is not in the scope is not your answer. And if you're talking about conclusion, it should be logical. So what was illogical? Innovation was illogical. Creation of experts was illogical. There was no logic. You couldn't connect the dots. So, and then after this, you write connect the dots. You know you have to connect the dots. You can eliminate it. Right? So last line of the passage can be either a conclusion or a logical extension of whatever has been said earlier. So it may not be a concluding part of the entire paragraph. So when you have an article and you read something, a passage, are your paragraphs always about 3 to 4 sentences? No, they can be bigger paragraphs. So it could be an extension of the second last line or a conclusion. So para completion, as we say, is a thought completion. So Then again we come to scope, theme, tone, logical. Yeah, these are things that always you get. So if the last line is a conclusion, then what do we expect? Does it come up with a new idea? A new idea is never your current summary of the whole paragraph. Yeah. So it should be logically derivable, should reflect the line of reasoning. So whatever the paragraph is talking about, it should be according to that. And it could focus on the main idea. Relevant to the critical issues that are being discussed. So it could begin with, therefore, as a result, in conclusion, right? Something that doesn't begin with that or doesn't have that sense in it. It may not begin with, but that is the essence of the sentence. Then it's it. Okay, if the last line is a continuation of an idea. So continuation of an idea will not happen here. It should not introduce something, right? Something that has not been discussed. If only problems are being discussed, then this should be related to the problem. Or it should give a solution. But not something different. Structurally, it should be similar. Logical flow again, and smooth transition will also. So anything that comes in abruptly is fine. Right? So that's why they say that it is the test also, so I think that also develops, in fact, any other test also, any practice test, is seeing your writing skills. Though we are not writing, but if you write something, then what are the things that you need? If you have to write a short paragraph on something, what are the things you do? Logical flow, yeah, development of ideas, same development of ideas, should have a specific structure. Okay, so these are the, so if we just summarize what are the main things, transition words, pronouns, very important. Pronouns should, if a sentence begins with a pronoun, so that pronoun should have reference to in the previous sentence. If you don't have reference to the pronoun in the previous sentence, it's not your answer. So if you have a middle sentence missing, the next sentence begins with they. Reference to they should be in your previous sentence, right? Scope of the passage, tone, article, flow. So you have to keep these in mind. They are being repeated purposely so that you. So strategy. First, what do you do? Gist, concept or essence, scope of limits, tone, style, logical sequence, transition words, non-pronouns. Articles are also important. And the, again, that and the should refer to something specific. It is the. And when you use that, what comes into the and is moralistic. A man, the man, the project, a project. A project is general, the project is missing. Right? So all the grammar that you have learned will be applied. Okay, stay away from extreme theories. Now, what do you eliminate? So anything that is contradictory to the argument or not in the scope, not mentioned in the paragraph. So if you are concluding something which is not mentioned in the paragraph, any of the options not mentioned, anything that is contradicting, extreme choices, eliminate, restatement of one of the lines, Eliminate the whole. So these are the two slides you have taken. Yeah, you want, you can take the slides from the PPT, put it, print it out, stick it. Right? Too broad. So we said it is something not in the scope, it is not your control. Too broad, it knows a lot of other things. Too broad cannot be your introduction. Should be related to. Conclusion also cannot be too broad or too narrow. Both related. Inconsistent growth, new things, right? So far, all clear? Straight. Take a deep breath. So if you're looking at the introductory sentence, what are you looking at?
Or I
Huh?
don't say so.
Yeah.
Go right up there.
Alright. So we go with from what to specific introduction. Right? Connecting sentence, connecting the two ideas before and after should not be out of place. Concluding sentence, align with the idea of the paragraph and logic. Done? So all these questions that you get in IPM paragraph completion, something like this will be the directions. So you need to read the directions in every question. Grammar questions, you need to read the directions. Yeah, because each question may be paragraph completion questions in IPM. All 5 questions will have the same directions, which will be like each paragraph given below has a sentence missing, which is indicated by a blank from the choices given below each paragraph. Choose a sentence that seems most logically appropriate. Right? So let's look at questions. So if you read the introductory sentences, yeah. If you, the next sentence begins with however, a contrast, right? So we have however. If you read this carefully, what do you understand? So first break down the paragraph and tell me what do you think will come in the introduction. What is the paragraph for?
Cause of syndrome.
Cause of syndrome. So introductory sentence should talk about
Cause.
cause. Yeah, and here we are talking about a particular cause, most common. So we are going from broad to specific. Yeah, you understand? Okay. So what's your answer? B. Why did you eliminate it?
But it's not a contrast of the first paragraph.
So what are we looking at in the first sentence? What are we seeking?
The cause of the slide.
So something that says that they are different topics. Yeah. So historically referred to, not your answer. The term tsunami comes from what? Is not your answer. A tsunami can travel hundreds of miles and cause extensive damage. That is what the tsunami results in. So it's not the cause of tsunami. Tsunami can be generated by that disturbance. So is this sentence general enough to introduce the paragraph? Now suppose you had 2 sentences which were talking about a similar thing. Then we will be looking at the sentence which is introducing it, doesn't have a cause in it. So it's talking about disturbance, and the disturbance can be caused by something. Right? It gives an example, such as volcanic eruption, and then it goes on to cover the most important. This. And they are certainly right. We come across A. Something reference to A should be in your introduction. So that becomes easier to eliminate. Sunscreen protects our skin from ultraviolet light. Too much ultraviolet is bad, etc. If you spend long time outside or sunscreen. So they are right. Who are right? Ultraviolet light can get rid of bacteria. And ultraviolet rays, right? I want to know why you eliminated.
Because it's mentioned there.
We are looking for this. Your parents tell you to wear sunscreen, and why they want you to wear sunscreen with the rest of the paragraph, right? When we are outdoors, we are exposed. Pollens not right. However, they can also trigger asthma. What is they over here? Some reason. Yeah, this could come in a later part of the sentence. It seems to be the safest to make food, not in school. Right? So only correct answer. Okay, let's look at this one. So what is it talking about? We have a middle sentence. Middle sentence, right? So Jhumpa Lahiri is the interpreter of Maldives melodies. That's the name of a book. So what can you really? So what overall what is it talking about? Shyam, what is the paragraph talking about? It is summarized and get the essence. Did you read it earlier? Hmm? Yeah, tell me what is the essence of that? Remember the essence?
Yes.
We wait for Shyam. Yes, Shyam? Studying about Jhumpa Lahiri's books, right? So we need, and we also have what information do we have? We have established as a young writer, national bestseller, and what the theme of the books usually are. What does it deal with? 3 things, right? So based on this, what can go in here? We have to do. What about A? Has not been acknowledged.
A and B are negative.
She is a bestseller. So has not been acknowledged. Her language style are difficult to understand.
And B are
No, because established this writer as one of the most brilliant of her generation. He is brilliant of her generation. People like to read her books. Would it be difficult to understand? Yeah. She's not Shakespeare, right? Okay. Her stories are one of the few debut works to win Pulitzer Prize for fiction. Yes. Her stories depict Americans and American way of life No, it's talking about immigrant exchanges. So D is eliminated. So D is not in the scope, right? B doesn't go with any of the conclusions. So C is the only one. Kind of thing. You got this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
D, Pukka?
Yes, now.
D also we need a middle sentence. Now, this paragraph you can break into two parts. Right? First part is talking about
B.
B. Anyone?
Yes.
Anyone who thinks it's not B? Hmm? So what's the first part talking about?
That you can travel alone.
Then you should travel solo.
Yeah.
Second part is talking about that what safety measures you should take. Safety measures you should take if you are traveling alone. Yeah. So, however, do not accept. Excuse me. Yeah. So, however, do not accept fraudulent bookings as a fitting. A contrast to what? Is this establishing a contrast to the previous point? Yeah. Right? This could come in later sometime. If as a woman you are traveling alone, so traveling alone, we were talking about traveling alone earlier, need to strategize to stay safe. And the rest of is talking about how to stay safe. Yeah. So B can be an answer. Why would you eliminate C? It's talking about you should go in a group. Is it in the scope? Logically, does it logically connect the ideas? No. It doesn't connect the first part to the second part anyway. It could be like these are the problems of traveling alone, then we can go there. Never hesitate, always risk for directions from family friendly looking strangers. Is it in the scope? Not. Right? So, the next question. Five minutes break is in your week. Okay, we finish. Three examples. What's the time? Break the time. 11:05. We'll finish these examples. And the thought process break. Right? We need to get used to first.
We got used to it.
अभी ये करो. This is a concluding sentence.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's 3?
Yes.
Hmm? Why did you take 3? So what is the essence of the passage?
It's
Doing something new. Yeah. Yeah. So what is the essence of the passage? Doing something new,
Yeah.
right? And then getting used to its meaning. Right? So our conclusion, the same is true when great happiness awaits us. Is it related in any way? Can we conclude? Now, 2 is talking about uneasiness takes possession of the kidney. Is it related? Right? And so it does with people we are comparing. So analogy to the same situation that happens with people when we get past the point of expecting, so anything new comes up, the same thing happens to us. She can. We need a conclusion.
बाकी तो कुछ आगे नहीं था नहीं
So if you look at the first sentence, what does the first sentence say? When words were heard, there are numbers. And if you look at the rest of it, the news articles have found Higgs boson confirmed some of the greatest intellectual work ever carried out. Right? And then it goes on with human race may not be able to solve territorial disputes or run a stable currency bloc. Yes? Maybe we cannot solve these problems. Right? But it is established why the universe has structure. We can do something else. Yeah, something maybe different but bigger. Right? And if you look at the first sentence, when words run out, they are numbers. Means when we can't explain something, we can at least find something or do something. So this is not like straightforward maybe. It's more we get to go deep and understand the essence of it. So now what can we eliminate? Yeah. So Eurozone tells you some features have not looked properly at the effects of failure. That is something specific cannot be a conclusion. And it doesn't relate to, or could it relate maybe, but not very well. Right? But conclusion was, worse problems can be solved by face-to-face negotiation. There is only one route through the crisis, much of it unpalatable to voters and hence to leaders. Are we talking about crisis situation and voters and leaders? Can we connect the dots in any way? So when we look at the essence, it was like we cannot do something, but we can do something at least. Right? Some problems we cannot solve, we can do other things. So we should recognize that at least as progress, we should recognize this at least as progress and often as complete. Right? Time was here, 3 months.
अरे महंगा पैसा मत कर लीजिए अच्छा लगा नहीं करना है आपको अरे क्या करते हैं
Anyone of you applied for NIMA? You did? No, yes?
I'm thinking to.
एग्जाम तो किया ना
But अच्छा है नहीं है मैं सोच रहा हूँ एलएमआर से लिया ऐसा कुछ कॉलेज तो मैं एलएमआर को जाऊंगी
It's now established. LIMS maybe depends upon the campus you get.
मेरे पास वाला चाहिए मैंने वही राजी
See, the thing is that all these institutions are good which you can get. Exam दिया तो कोई नहीं मिल सकता है ना आंसर apply to all. See, exam एक ही दे रहे हो. Why not apply to all of them? You can get it. Yeah, never tried it. And in Nirma City, they look at the sections. Sectional schools.
Nirma में 5 years है
Nirma has I think 4+2. They give you a 4 years community focus. No, that. You want to do only 4 years course? 4+2 है 5+2 है. Yeah, I asked Manisha on TV now. But I know they have 4 years and they have why? Because placement was last placement जो आया है indicated 4 students have got more placements than the regular 2 years MBA.
अभी मैं
कहाँ का
इतना बेसिक ऑफ नॉर्मल का वेट करता है एमसीक्यू पे यस हैदराबाद में एक प्राइवेट कॉलेज मैं वो शाम को उस पे भी आपको
And what about the other colleges?
जब सीडी का रेटिंग दिखता है कंप्यूटर के क्वेश्चन बोलना
Other colleges through IPM and the
कंप्यूटर के क्वेश्चन आता है क्या कंप्यूटर का क्वेश्चन है लाइक मैथ्स व्हाट इज कंप्यूटर साइड क्या होता है
क्या होता है
बाकी सब ठीक है अरे मतलब जनरली हमारे एमसीक्यू और कुछ और जैसे एक्सेल का होता है वर्ड का होता है
रिकॉर्डिंग ही रहता है ना इसमें
सेम लाइव लेक्चर मेंबरशिप तो लाइव अपलोड किधर करते होंगे ना अपलोड करते होंगे लाइव अपलोड करते बट लाइव लेक्चर जो छोड़ने के लिए अच्छा है तो वो एट द पर्टिकुलर टाइम में फिर कंटाला आता है फिर बाद में करूंगा फिर रहता है
ये हमको तो आइडिया नहीं है क्या करेंगे
इसका
सीडी
सारी इसमें
कोडिंग है आपको मैथ्स की कई पे सीडी कहां आता है सीडी से भाई सीडी से एमसी एमसीसी केसगढ़ फिर एसआईएस एचआर और
So that we can get this and then apply next year again. इस साल अगर इंदौर में लगा next year नहीं जाएगा ना? You will keep that option open. Okay.
मैंने प्रोफेशनल बोले कि if you want to spend your more money is not to ज़्यादा है उसमें तो spend but that was
If you want to come to US, what else are you doing?
I am like my goal is to get EMS and doing other courses like AI, Excel and Microsoft Office. Then giving around 4 other courses.
Hello, the question is on the screen.
Because the AI part is more the AI part.
Yeah, and then
With the help of
your extracurricular activities, community service. Community service is very important.
I'm doing that from 10th standard. My school was providing all these courses. In fact, mostly we get to go and give interviews about that.
The community service means actually doing some work.
Yeah.
Community work, yeah, some initiatives you take on your own also. Self-initiative and
Managed to go in NCT.
okay, time up. Huh? Close your eyes for 3 seconds. No again, just focus. Try to focus and get back. Okay. So back to the screen. Your question. So you can use your pen and rough paper always. So if you can get this down to bullet point, right? If you have a long paragraph, what do? Break it down. Write your Keywords.
अब easy going नहीं है बहुत problem वाला
So have you broken it? Any possible? What is the
Scarce. S-E-A-R-C-E.
scarce? Scarce is something that is not in abundance. Not in abundance. Shortage. Okay. Viva, can you explain what? Can you explain the paragraph?
Okay, so there's factory and the dealer, so you can relationship tap with that value to some reason. Then there is dealer and customer, उन दोनों का भी relationship था. It's not a relationship था.
So it leads to
It leads to us everyone treating other as a people. Yeah.
so because of all this, what can you think should be the answer?
C.
Hmm?
भी हो सकता है. Let's see for that. Next.
So we are talking about a problem. Everyone holds back information. Dealer about the product, consumer about his true desires. So everyone is holding back information. There is no transparency. Yeah, you can say that. So A says, as a result, deal making becomes rampant without consumer concern for consumer satisfaction, customer satisfaction. Can this be a conclusion? If not, what?
And it's too broad.
It's too broad or too narrow?
Which one?
A.
Sorry.
A is too narrow. It's talking about only customer satisfaction. Right? So can be eliminated. B, as a result, inefficiencies creep into the supply chain. Are we talking about only supply chain? Supply chain will be the dealer side. Is it the consumer side? C, as a result, everyone treats each other as an adversary. Adversary, are we talking about everyone becoming enemies?
Not exactly. It's my relationship dies.
Is the relationship bad?
Yeah. Great.
Strained relationship? Yeah, we are talking about strained relationship, but that is already being talked about. Is that a conclusion?
Yes. Because दोनों का साथ में and ऐसा करके.
So we have already spoken about that problem. This is just restating the problem. Isn't it? The summary, but summary has already been
What if we keep it on over the next?
everyone, okay, we keep, yeah, we can do that. You're right? So we keep this on hold. As a result, fundamental innovations are becoming scarce. Are we talking about innovations anywhere?
No.
It is not a question. As a result, everyone loses in the long run. So we are talking about a problem. Everyone holds back innovation, information, right? Everyone holds back information. Nobody is open. Yeah. So what is it creating? So is anyone gaining out of this? So we are talking about the end result of these problems. What is the end result of these problems? Everybody is losing, right? So if we talk about adversity, that is something we've already spoken about in the past, right? The relationships are not good. We've already taken up that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a restatement. Remember? Restatement of what has been said. Right? So this is more of a everyone treats the other as an adversary rather than ally. The customer relationship is strained means they are treating each other as adversary. So will restatement of a point be your answer or a conclusion? Though it is related to what has been said, but it's already been said. So our answer cannot be C. E is the only most logical, right? Logically, because of all these problems, right? Not convinced? Clear? So out of these options, which is the best answer? C or D? Okay, now C or D, right? E is telling you that all these problems is leading to this. Yeah? Is C telling you what all these problems are leading to?
Yes.
Yeah. So because of these problems, each one is treating each other as an adversary. Now, that's what I said, that here we have relationships are equally strained.
No, I understand that it's repeating, but in conclusion, will we do that? Repeat at the last sentence.
See, what is the rule? It should not restate some particular point that has been made. So is C restating a particular point that has been made? Right? It is actually talking about now. Here we have already said there is mistrust. Here we are talking about mistrust. Here we are talking about relationship being strained. Is that the only conclusion? Think of it. Is that the only conclusion? Or is that a problem because of which something else is happening? Right? So that is a problem because of which everyone is losing the law. So your conclusion has to be broader than the specific points. Okay. Okay, so we come to last year's questions. Yeah? Ready? Directions are the same. What do you have to do, you know? Question number 1. So there were 5 questions, that is specifically the question number. The set I got was. And another thing, don't think that somebody sitting next to you can give you the answer in the exam. क्यों? उसका B option होगा. Your option may be C. Won't be the same. Maybe that person has question number 25. You have question number 28 as the same. So don't try to ask somebody else for the answer. Clear? Do you understand the passage?
Yes.
How do you break it down? First, break the passage. First is talking about what AI can do, right? And then there's a how that was. Contrasting transition. However, there could be something. Next part tells us what it cannot do. Right? So, I was talking about while it can mimic existing styles and patterns, what can it not do? What is debatable? Possess creativity in the same sense as you. That is important. So our next concluding sentence should be related to that. Right? So what's your answer then? B?
Yes.
So why did you eliminate A?
It's
Is it related? Huh? Fear that it will become smarter? We are not talking about that. C, AI raises a number of ethical concerns. Huh? Are we talking about concerns raised? B, already proven a machine's ability to perform advanced calculations. Now we need something related to creativity as humans can do. So D is not an answer. AI generated works may lack depth, emotional connection, unique perspective that come with human experience and emotions. As humans can do, disconnect. Yes? Krishti, what's the problem? Yeah, see the answer, Pukka? B. Sorry, B. So, was this difficult? What did you have to do? Just think. Can I the dogs think what can we look for that? Next question. So here we need a middle sentence. So if you break it down, what is the essence of the passage?
connecting private and public spaces.
So breaking the barriers between private and public, something which is challenging traditions, right? First sentence is blurs boundary between public and private, which is in contrast to what other people think, right? So what can we get in what can we eliminate? Now integrates, yeah, it does integrate something, but traditional aesthetic with modern design, is it talking about that? So remember something that has been said earlier and something that follows. His work is a testament of power of architecture to break down barriers. So what is the work about? Or what is his thought process? Something like that. He was recently named the Nobel laureate, the laureate of the prestigious Physical architecture plans. Is that related? No, not in this book, right? We don't need that. It may be related to him, but is it related to the point that we want? In the world of architecture, he stands out as a visionary voice, advocating a return to a more connected way of interconnected way of living. We're talking about interconnected way of living. He connects the private and the public and blurs the difference, right? Good. He is deeply committed to building harmonious societies through his architectural practice. Would it be in the middle? Huh? Yeah, that we are talking about later on. Yeah, foster a sense of community comes in later. So do we use the same idea in both the sentences? Or this could be more of a, say, conclusion, right? It's already mentioned. So it is like, if we now, how do you know that you are right or not? Read a passage with the sentence. Always plug in your answer, whether it is word, whether it is grammar, or complete sentence. So if we plug it in, B, say, he blurs the boundary between public and private. He is deeply committed to building harmonious societies through his architectural practice. His work is the testament to the power of architecture to break down barriers, to foster a sense of community. Now that is not absolutely wrong, but it is like you make a general point and then go on to something specific? Could be, but which is better? In the world of architecture, he stands out as a visionary voice, advocating return to more interconnected living. So, first sentence can connect to interconnected way of living, and the next sentence goes on to giving us the details. So, instead of B, we will go with C. Right? They're talking about blurring boundaries, going into interconnected worlds, and then creating a sense of community. Yeah? Logically, the order is okay?
Yes.
Anyone who's feeling sleepy can come this. Okay. Done? Sure. पूरा खोलने में और okay, next one. This here also we are looking for a connecting sentence, right? Rather, it is a part of a sentence. Now your options have begun with capital, but if you see, it will be continuation of the sentence. lot of things in it. So we are looking at the beginning, first sentence. Pursuit of a career in sports offers individuals opportunities for professional success, personal fulfillment, and growth. So remember, we have to think carefully. They try to make it complicated. Beach make and down the right? On purpose to confuse you. So what do we need in the first sentence? Now if you look at the second sentence, athletes must therefore undergo rigorous training. Why should they undergo rigorous training? Something connected to this, right? So always look at the context. So, and now if you look at C, the sports industry encompasses a wide range of career paths. And के बाद आएगा क्या? हाँ? Sports now and career paths including this could do. But sports industry encompasses a wide range of career paths. Is it in a parallel structure? Grammatically correct होना चाहिए ना sentence. Let's see. So C can be eliminated. Let's look at B.
D also can be eliminated.
Athletes often face pressure from coaches. Now, opportunities for professional success, professional fulfillment, and athletes. So, is it a continuation of the idea? It's a contrast. If you had but instead of and, you can use this. If we don't have but. So, B can be eliminated. B. Many athletes choose to pursue higher education alongside their sports career. This is a completely different point. Point can be added if it was a different sentence. But we are continuing in the same sentence. So D, B as well. And sports careers are often short-lived due to physical demands and risk of injury associated with athletic competitions. Now here if you see, after and is this VRBL. But if you look at the next sentence, this can come. Right? थोड़ा तो गड़बड़ है, but we have to look for the best possible answer. So, and many athletes choose to pursue a higher education alongside their sports career to ensure long-term stability and success. After this, talking about athletes must therefore undergo rigorous training. So the only option that does fit in is A and B go with it. This is rather nice, right? Something that fits in with your answer. Yeah. So what did we do here? Number one, what is the sentence talking about? Right? And because we are not very sure, we look at the, well, it's in the middle, it should connect the two sentences. What comes before, what comes after. So, therefore, undergo rigorous training is the big clue that we have. Right? Next question. Here we need an introductory sentence. This happened. So what do we need? Something happened. Because of which, after a lorry laden with tomatoes worth 21 lakh rupees went missing. So a lorry went missing, right? So something happened because the lorry with 21 lakh of tomatoes went missing. Can be eliminated. So eliminated which are the ones which are not there. Okay, we begin with the last one. Let's look at this. The last one. Okay, A says Nasik overtook Pollard as biggest tomato market in Asia. Because the lorry went missing, this happened? Right. Obviously. Panic and confusion reigned among traders. Panic happened? Yeah? This can be. A couple took the hijacked vehicle to a nearby market and sold it in. That can come in later, not the initial sentence. 3 traders jointly hired a lorry to carry tomatoes. That doesn't seem to be why something would have happened. So be easy. This was easy?
Yes.
Options are very easy. So it is very good. Okay, now we come to very good. Here we are looking for a concluding statement. Right? Here they are talking about Navi Mumbai. Have you seen Charles Fourier's creations in Navi Mumbai? Charles Fourier is a famous artist who actually conceptualized this whole Navi Mumbai. Like 30 years ago, there were no high-rises. Many conceptualized bungalows, row houses, parks. Right? So that's the story. Second. Second one. Why did you choose second? So what's the paragraph talking about? What are the key points in the paragraph? Krish?
Dedication.
Okay, what are the key points in the paragraph? Key points. Urban area for people across the harbor, right? So if you look at the last part, in the midst of overpopulated cities, he tried to create a quasi-rural housing environment. What do you mean by quasi? Quasi-rural. What is quasi-rural? Semi-rural. Or semi-rural housing environment, not as crowded as the city. Or in all of his urban planning commissions, Fourier avoided high-rise housing solutions. So this is what we are connecting. Not overpopulated, semi-rural housing environment, avoided high-rise housing solutions. Yeah. So as a result of this, what did he create? Or what did he focus on? He is particularly noted for his sensitivity to the needs of urban poor. Are we talking about urban poor anymore?
No.
Not in this course. So one is not in this course. He focused on low-rise dwelling, yeah, avoided high-rise, that emphasized human scale and created a sense of community. That can be. Let's see what else we can do. considerations of Indian climate. Are we talking about Indian climate? His early work combined traditional architectural values with modernist use of materials. Not related. Yeah, that can't be a conclusion. So, 2 is about ideas. Yeah, that means it is connected to what is said earlier. Okay, this one, read carefully. Everything would be easy. Sure.
Yes.
So it's talking about it began in the urban centers of Calcutta. Next sentence is then gradually moved to other urban centers. Right? So something, it should be connected to urban, right? And where it began. These two things connect the sentences. So why did you eliminate 2? Encourage natives to write poetry about India only. It's not in this book. Write poetry about India only, not in this book. English was seen as an elite language. That is talked about later on. Last line. Huh? And British had decided that poetry about India could reach large audience if written in Calcutta. That is not, that is extreme. Yeah, it could reach only because it is in Calcutta. No. So, one is our only answer. In fact, poetry writing for the first 50 years was confined to few families who were residents of Calcutta. So it's talking about it was confined and then it moved up. So one is the best answer. So what the Nawab work carefully.
Fine.
Any other answer? Anyone with a doubt? Everyone, yes? What's your okay, what else do you think would be the answer? Answer is one. Why do you think it should be one?
The further sentence there is some that ideal substitution. Obviously substitute parents, so getting British ancestral
Resemble building British ancestral homes, right? And about foreignness, they have already spoken about foreignness in the previous sentence, right? With foreign, came with foreign soldiers, and it's already talking about the new status. Backdrop to private as well as, okay, why not 3? Providing ideal substitute, and if you look at the sentence before, became physical manifestation of the new status. Alignment to the new power block. So we are not talking about poker, right? The Nawabs chose to live in villas because they were easier to construct, right? So 2, 3, and 4 are eliminated.
Yes.
One is a which can. Well done, notice. Next question. What happened? Time is up? Yeah? There won't be next. What is time?
Exactly 12.
Need a little rest before you can think about the. Okay, then we will continue with this tomorrow.
Yes.
And okay, everybody came to class, right? You also can concentrate better.
I won't be able to come tomorrow. I have graduation day that day. I'll do the recording. I'll do the only tomorrow.
Okay, so you can do one thing. I'll do one thing. I'll share the worksheet.
Yeah.
And you will do the worksheet. Okay, so to be this one person will bring the